Hey guys, welcome. My name is Abbott and you're watching the Easy Option Trading course. Hopefully by now you've been learning a lot and there's still a lot more to go. So let's hop to it. In this video, I want to talk about 5 key terms that are used in option trading. The first 3 are the at the money, out of the money, and in the money. And those relate to the location or where the strike prices are relative to the current price of the underlying security. Intrinsic and extrinsic value are the 2 components that make up the price of the option. Also, it's good to note that I will be doing a couple of calculations, but the calculations aren't necessary every time. Rather, I'm doing it now to just give you the bare understanding or basic understanding of the term. But it's better to just understand the term more than try to calculate it every single time. All right, let's get started. So the first term is at the money. It's when the strike price of the option is the same as the underlying security. So let's open up the TOS platform. Let's go to the trade tab and type in SPY. So currently SPY is trading at 207.62, which you can see here and at the top right. And on the left side, you'll have the call options, and on the right, the puts. Down the middle, you'll usually always see the strike prices of the options. Right now, I only have 14 strikes available or shown just for the purpose of the video, but you can always click on the drop-down menu to show more strike prices. I've opened up the August 15 options, which expire in 42 days. But going back to our definition of at the money, it's when the strike price of the option is the same as underlying security. Currently, the price is at 207.62, but you'll notice that there isn't a 207.62 option. So we go to the nearest dollar amount, which is the 207 and 208. So those 2 are the at the money options. Options usually have increments of $1, and stocks are usually increments of a penny. So the nearest dollar amount in strikes are the at the money options. All right. So next is out of the money. Out of the money is when the option price or the option has a strike price that will not have made any money if the option were to be exercised right now. So for example, on the call side, it's when the strike price is less than the underlying security price. So you want to think about out of the money as if you were not to have made any money. You are out of money. So let's say, for example, on the 209 strike price option for the calls, you would not be able to make any money if it were to be exercised right now. Because if you think about it, currently the stock is being traded at 207.62, and you have a call for 209. You would rather go out and buy the 207.62 because it's cheaper for you to buy it at a lower price rather than having to buy it at the option strike price of 209. On the put side is when the strike price is less than the underlying security price. So just going back to the similar example, let's say if we have a 206 option, and remember with puts you're selling the stock, or you might be shorting the stock. And whenever you sell something, you want to sell it at a higher price. So it'd be better for you to go out and sell the stock at 207.62, which is the current market price, rather than go out and sell it at 206, which is a lower price. And so that's out of the money. And the good thing about the Thinkorswim platform is that it kind of color shades it. So the white color or the non-shaded color is usually out of the money, and in the money are the shaded color. So it's a good segue into in the money. In the money is just the opposite of out of the money. Is when the strike price of an option that will make you money if it were to be exercised right now. So on the call side is when the strike price of the underlying security is, or the strike price, sorry, is when the strike price is less than the underlying security price. So just going with the calculation example, or our example, if we had a strike price of 206, it'd be better for us to exercise the option and buy the stock at 206 and then go out in the market and sell it at 207.62. That's when you would be making money. On the put side, it's when the strike price is greater than the underlying security price. So for example, up to 209, we would want to exercise the option and sell it at 209 or short it at 209 and then buy it back at 207.62. Now on to the other two terms, intrinsic value. So intrinsic value is the amount of money made if the option were to be made, if the option were to be exercised right now. So let's go back to the call option, or on the call side, it's when the underlying price minus, or is the difference of the underlying price minus the strike price. It's the amount of money you would be making if the exercise would be, if the option were to be exercised now. So for the example of the 206 call option, currently the strike underlying price is 207.62. We have a strike price of 206, and the intrinsic value is $1.62. On the put side, since you're selling the stock, it would be the strike price minus the underlying price. So for the 209 strike put, it would be 209 minus 207.62, which equals $1.38. But it's also important to note that you can't have a negative intrinsic value. So say, for example, that the strike price was higher than the underlying price, like a 209 strike price. There is no intrinsic value in that option. It's all extrinsic value. So that is a good segue. So I did want to note that intrinsic value are only for in the money options, because it's in the money options that is where you can only make some money when the options were to be exercised, or if the options were to be exercised. So next is a good segue into extrinsic value. It's when the premiums in the options that are not related to intrinsic value. So it's the option price minus the intrinsic value. So on the call side, we had an intrinsic value of $1.62 for the 206. So you can see that the 206 call is about 528, which is the average of the two, or the mid price of the two. So you can take the option price, which is 528, minus $1.62, and you get an extrinsic value of 366. The 366 usually can relate to relates to the time value of money, so, or the premiums of the time value. On the put side, and we'll go over that in a bit on time value. On the put side, we'll have the 209. The 209, we had an intrinsic value of $1.38, but we see that the call, or the put option, is about 473 minus the 138. You'll have an extrinsic value of 335. So it's important to note that the calculations is only needed for in the money options. As I've noted before, the out of the money options do not have any intrinsic value, so it's purely all extrinsic value. So it's a good segue to my next point, where for out of the money options, they have no intrinsic value, it's all extrinsic value, and the purchase for out of the money options is for speculation, because at this point in time you would not be making any money, so you're purely buying the option for the speculation that the option will either go up for calls or go down for puts. Also a quick cool calculation of extrinsic value for in the money option is looking at the put equivalent or the opposite equivalent. So for example, on the 206, remember we calculated 206 extrinsic value to be about, I think, 366. But if you look at the put side for the 206 put options, it's 362, really close to what we calculated before at 366. Same with the puts, the 209, we have the extrinsic value really similar to the call option at 209. So hopefully this was very helpful for you guys. Thank you again for watching.